This is recording 684. Again, you can find me at christinastation918.com, and you can access this podcast there, all recordings. My website is spelled CHRISTINASTATIA 918.com. Okay, so I want to report a crime that she committed a few days ago. So this was a video shows a Turkish Air Force C-130E Hercules cargo plane falling in multiple pieces from the sky earlier today. The center fuselage with the wings still attached is notably seen spiraling straight down toward the ground. The aircraft, which tragically had 20 individuals on board, came down in Georgia as it was flying from Azerbaijan to Turkey. Okay, so you already know that she committed this crime instantly just by looking at the initials of it. She definitely would be using, it's Thanksgiving time, where we just passed Thanksgiving in the United States of America. She is Jean Jernigan Roberts, like I've told you in multiple recordings over and over and over again. Okay, so her Charles Manson occult, okay, one of their sticks, okay, and it's literally like cloak and dagger, okay. She like hides underneath everyone, and she puts claws in everyone, and she does that in any tactic possible, including using artificial intelligence on people, okay. So it doesn't mean people all like I'm trying to make a report. Stop controlling my speech. Anyway, so okay, so because this was Turkish Air, okay, so one of the things that she does is she planned to do this since the 60s, her Charles Manson occult, okay? So, and I even decoded it. I decoded all of it. Like I told you, I've decoded all the way back to the Holy Bible, okay? So, one of her things is to try to pull people into it, and she does that on high levels and on low levels, giving them any song and dance possible, okay? And then people find out later that she lied to him and that she conned him and that she tricked him, and then by then it's too late, which goes with her whole Alice in Wonderland theme. And if you're a business person, if you're a person, let me put it this way, if you're a person that has something to lose, okay, meaning somebody who makes a lot of money, that means you have a lot of lives that are dependent on you for survival, okay? So, of course, she's going to go hit you up there because you don't want that falling on your shoulders. The same thing on the street. If she can get somebody's hands dirty on the street, say she convinces a pickpocket to go rob a bank, okay, the pickpocket would have just been like pickpocketing, but now she's got him robbing banks, okay? So, I mean, she works any way possible, and then she takes in people that haven't, like she uses people that haven't committed any crime at all, and she goes and gives them a song and dance, and she appeals to their emotional, trying to take advantage of their emotions, okay? She's a huge con artist. Okay, so she planned to hide under and take advantage of, and I've decoded this so many times, I can't even Like, it's in all of my recordings. Every time I unearth her taking advantage of or trying to hide under certain groups of people, I always out her. I'm always like, here's what she did. Here's what she did. Okay, so one of them is the American Indian movement. Okay, and this goes all the way back to my childhood. She planned to take advantage of them and hide underneath them since the late 60s. Okay, so it's just another group of people for her to point a finger at once I figure out that she's the one who's guilty. And she goes, nuh-uh, they did it. They did it. No, they did not. You did it. And I clearly decoded what you've done, Gene Jernigan Roberts. So anyway, all I can do, and the American Indian movement they're as real as the Black Panthers. I mean, they are a real movement, and everybody should be studying and learning about the American Indian movement. I've decoded so much. I decoded Wounded Knee Part 1. I decoded Wounded Knee Part 2. There's so much that I've decoded, and it makes me angry, just like it makes me angry how she tries to hide underneath African Americans. It makes me angry. I've spent 9 years decoding her crimes. It makes me angrier than anything because this is insane. Just like her trying to hide underneath the military. It's freaking insane. If you go at her and you confront her, like, just confront her direct on, whether you're doing that in mental telepathy or confronting her to her face, just confront her directly to her face and watch what comes flying out of her mouth. Everybody else is everybody else is everybody else is everybody else. She has spent 60 years of committing crime, and in that same 60 years, she's built get out of jail free cards. Like, every excuse out of everything. Which there's no excuse out of anything. So she's decades ahead, or so she thinks of everyone. So the only thing that I can do is what I'm doing. Okay, she's stalking me. She's stalking my family. She's committing terrorism using my life, my family's life, using artists that I love, and using them as a theme to commit terrorism with, which angers me. It angers me that she uses my family. It angers me that she uses artists. It angers me that she tries to force artists into silence. So, and I know hip-hop listens to everything. They listen to all of my recordings. I know they do. Because it's like, at least, and it's like they've told me, you have the evidence, you turn her in. So anyway, because it doesn't do any good for anybody else, and it's not anybody else's job, it's my life that she stole. It's my identity that she stole. It's my decode that she stole. And she's running a racket with all of it. So it's my responsibility to make reports against Gene Jernigan Roberts. Anyway, so of course she's going to take advantage of and use Turkish Air Force because it's going along with her Thanksgiving and her AIW turning around and blaming Native Americans. That's not Native Americans doing that. Gene Jernigan Roberts and her Manson occult, they're wise to her now. Before, just like everybody else, and no, they did not help her commit any terrorism. I'm saying with the con that she's running currently as a concealment to fund and hide the terrorism that she's committing. Okay, so she conned some Native Americans, and they're like, oh my God. But they're all wise to it now. So anyway, so you can see how she used the Turkish Air Force. Then note the 13, and then people are looking in my brain at the 130E. The E is V. I already know E is V. They're acting like somebody's telling me E is V, and then they're thinking themselves. Again, you people are the stupidest fucking people in the world. And I'm sorry for people who are listening to this, but she puts curse words in my sentences. You are stupid. I've been decoding these crimes for 9 years. I don't know who you're trying to fool. They learn this from stealing from me, and then they act like they're educating me, and then they run off and thank themselves. That's how stupid they are. So anyway, so the 130E, so 12 equals 0, 24 equals 0. There's probably something more there, but I'm not gonna break all that down. It's very obvious. I don't need to go through all that. So, and then you have the high C. You see the H and the C for the Hercules. Okay, and then notice that the high C is backwards. Okay, and then see all code on high C. And then the cargo, see all code cargo. And then pieces, see all code pieces. And then see multiple. Now she's using that. Then also the GA, she's using that. And then she's using the JAN, which is a reference to Aquarius. And then she's using, you can figure the rest out, but she committed this crime. So anyway, I'm going through my notes here. Oh, this is something else that goes to this crime. So this happened last week. Okay, so I was walking into work, and she was in my brain, and she was popping off with Act Right, and she was trying to force some kind of she was trying to force two-way dialect. They run like little planned out scripts, stunts, okay, as you guys know. All right, so anyway, she wanted to have herself called Laverne from Laverne and Shirley. Okay, and so she said it through my mouth and took control of my mouth and acted as if I was calling her Laverne, and I would never call her Penny Marshall. Never. She has Penny Marshall held hostage. And I've told you that in previous recordings. I can't even think about it. So anyway, she wanted to have herself called Laverne. Then I find out she commits this attack. And then I go back and realize what she did by having herself called Laverne. And she also thanked herself. So what she was doing is she was doing a spin on Shannon Doherty from 90210, who also has suffered from cancer. And then Shannon, see all code Shannon. Okay, so Shannon did this. Shannon Doherty, she played Brenda on 90210. In one of these episodes that I loved, it reminded me of Ed DeBevick's in Chicago. She dressed up like a 50s waitress in the show, and I think she was calling herself Laverne. And so what she had her do, oh my God, now she's controlled that last sentence, what she had her do, quote, okay, that was Jean trying to force words through my speech, and she's running off doing some kind of clip stitch lying to someone. Okay, so Jean Roberts is acting as if she's Shannon Doherty in that character, and she's saying Denoive. Okay, and so that like the nerve, Denoive. And that goes to this terror attack. So you know she did that terror attack. Then also, moving ahead, she also did some kind of big script stunt. You know how much she loves Rod Stewart. Okay. See all code, Rod Stewart, see all code, da, 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 da. So anyway, back to Rod Stewart again. So she did some stunt on some acted out script stunt on Rod Stewart, and she made a reference to Stewart from Mad TV from the airline scene, which is horrific. It's an iced skit that she did on Mad TV, which is freaking horrific if you know everything that's going on. And so she thought she would be funny and do a little skit in my brain on it, thinking she's cute. The 9/11 terrorists did that. The woman who truly did the World Trade Center attack. Anyway, also last week, I'm like totally being stalked. It's insane. So last week I got paid, and then I went up to the gas station and went to Murphy's to go get cigarettes, right? And they knew I was going to go get cigarettes. So as soon as I get up there to go get cigarettes, okay, and it's like an outdoor convenience store. It's on the corner of 81st and Sheridan. So as soon as I get up there, she's got either someone that she knows that's involved in the con with her, who is helping her getting away with committing these crimes, or someone that she's ice raping. I have no idea. But you might want to investigate her also. So anyway, she literally looks like Jean Jernigan Roberts, like another one of her little doppelgangers, only she's like 5'8", and she's the same size as, well, she's actually a little bit chunkier. She's a little bit chunkier than how small I was when I lost all my weight in Slidell. Just a little bit chunkier. And then Jean Jernigan Roberts was throwing voices to her, and then having her act stupid, and then she kept making references to the girl lives like down the street from me, and that she's been impersonating me and whatever. With Jean Roberts is a whole bunch of people trying to steal my identity. So I don't know. I'd go see who the girl is all I'd do. I'd go APB on her. So that's all for this recording.